Good evening. We're going to cover today's alerts that I posted in the room today. And today is Friday, December 20th. And here are the alerts. There's 6 of them. I know you got Netflix 3 times, but we'll cover them in a minute. 6 alerts, 4 winners, 2 losers. I'll go over the setups and when I call the alerts, why, and stuff like that. So we'll go with Netflix first because I have the chart up. First alert I had was today was 330 puts, and I wanted to keep them close to at the money because it is Friday, and Friday's theta is really high, and if it chops for a little bit, the premiums will get destroyed. So that's why you saw my alerts, and I had 3 different strikes for 3 different plays, and I'll show you exactly why. Okay, right here I saw this. But before I get into that, I mean, look at Netflix. I mean, this is like 6 or 7 days right here of an uptrend. Then it pulls back. So we're up about the day 6 right here, and it's gone up even sharper here than it did over here. So it started to show a little weakness. Fly right here, and it came up and it started to show weakness at the open. So I thought maybe today was the day, and being Friday, monthly options day, quad witching and stuff like that. That usually on quad witching, or not even just the quad witching, but on regular weekly and monthly options, if the week is really a sharp green week or a strong week, that the Friday is going to end up finishing red. And today wasn't the case, but that was my thinking at first, was that it was green all week. Netflix had a very, very strong week. I mean, it went from is this Monday? Yep. It went from 300 to 338. Well, let's say before today. 300 to 333. That's the 30-point move in a week. That's pretty big for Netflix. We'll look at the weekly on Netflix. I mean, look at the weekly candle. That's pretty substantial. I mean, it's had a couple back here on reversals. So we may have continuation next week after seeing this. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, so it does happen, but not that often. Like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. Probably 5 times in the last, 2 years that we have weeks that strong. So I thought today was actually going to have a pullback because of the way it started out. Now, what happened was I started to see this wedge forming right here, descending wedge. So that's when I got in. I called the alert at 9:58. So I got on in this candle right here, thinking this was going to be the break, the lower day, and it came up here. But I was still good. It was on the VWAP, so it was still pretty good. And I sold into the drop down here. Now, the next time I grabbed Netflix was at 10:55, and that was the VWAP rejection. Now, because the 333, I'll bring up. Let me bring up Netflix. Let's change this. Let's change this to number 4 really fast. Ignore what's on there. I'll bring up the option chain over to that. So I had get a look at my other computer. 330. I had 330 puts. Now you can see right here. This might be kind of hard to see. Okay. Now the 330 puts, we got them at around 44 cents. So we got them right in here, and we sold them up here. But see that the price was right there, and if you're talking about right in this time frame, it's 9:51. So 9:51. Okay, so this is what the price of options was, right around 45 cents, 50 cents, right in that area, 45 cents, let's say. So the next time I came up to VWAP, and this is what kind of time frame? An hour. It went from 45 cents to 20. So an hour, it decayed that much. Wait a minute. Yeah. From here to here, yeah. It decayed in half. So that's why I didn't want to grab the 330s again. I wanted to grab the what are the ones I grabbed? The 332s. The one's up. Next one's up. Why am I lagging? So this time on the next one, I grabbed these at like 77, which was right in here, and we sold into the pop. Now this was a VWAP rejection, so as soon as it went up and touched VWAP, I got into the puts right away. The 332.50 puts at 77 cents, and we sold into the drop. Now the third time I got it, well, obviously as time went on, it went up and more decay happened, and the third time was at 12.50. 12.50 is right here. 12.50, yeah, right in here. And we got the 335s, and I'll bring those up. Now, I grabbed the 335 because they were at the money. Now the problem was that the reason I grabbed it here is because of the daily. We have this big gap down on earnings, and it came up here, so we get gap resistance right here. So that's why I grabbed it right there. We're right dead on with gap resistance, and usually gap resistance is a really strong resistance and a good place to get put. So I was playing that, and I got burned on it, and I probably wouldn't have gotten burned too bad if it wasn't Friday. I mistimed it because we got him right here, and it went down lower, and Theta just wrecked him all day long. And so I thought it was going to get to the gap resistance, and it was just going to dump, and we'd have a nice big sell-off, and Netflix would go red, but it didn't. Netflix was strong, then chopped, and this should have been the area where I should have gotten it, but I played the gap resistance thinking it was going to pull back, and it didn't. So I got fooled by that one. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I had two other great Netflix trades, so I don't care if I got burned on that one. I mean, I kind of do, but I mean, I timed it wrong. I mean, I got into too fast, and I should have waited for just a little bit of a pullback confirmation, but I didn't. I just jumped right in it thinking it was going to fall apart. So that was my first loss for the day. And go back to yeah, so Theta throughout the day on Friday is just really, really harsh, and if it chops just for 15 minutes or even 10 minutes, you can see the premiums just get wiped away. So next one was ROKU. The ROKU was, we got calls. Now, I'm on the 3 minute on that one. Let's get to the hourly. Doesn't really matter. I'm not even going to pay attention to the hourly on that. Okay, what time did I get him? I got him at 10:44. Oh yeah, that was in here. Yeah, got him at 10:44. And I saw, every time, ROKU pulls back, I like to buy the dip. And it was pulled back from 141 to 137. So it was like a I don't know, $3 pullback. So I was like, okay. Then when I saw this, it was like a little mini inverted head and shoulders right here. So, I like this little look that it was giving. So I bought it in here and sold it up on the pop, but that's what I was looking at. I bought the dip. I saw this little miniature inverse head and shoulders on the 3 minute, and that's why I grabbed ROKU. I love buying the dips on ROKU, so I mean, I probably could have bought them here and here, but I was too busy watching other things, and I kind of missed it. Now the other one I had was Apple, and Apple, I mean, Apple's just been on a tear. So now what I saw in Apple was, while I was but when I was watching Netflix in pain, getting a little annoyed by it going up and going against me, that I saw the Apple forming a descending triangle right here. I mean, you got that right down here. I mean, I can even draw the line so you guys can see it. The line won't be that great, but you get this kind of going like right here, and you're gonna get it flattened right here. Oops, don't want to. Kind of get it flat right here. So you get a descending triangle forming. So that is why I grabbed Apple. In fact, when I first saw it, I was hesitant about grabbing it. I mentioned in the room that I really want to short Apple right here, and I was like, okay, I made a really bad call on Netflix. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but to me, I don't like taking losses, so I was kind of upset that Netflix kind of went against me, and I almost didn't take this, and I said, oh, screw it. I'll take it. I don't care, whatever. Worst case scenario is another one that goes against me, and I'll be done for the day. Well, it didn't go against me. It went down. It went from 19 cents to $1.57, I believe. I can't remember what it was. It was like $1.57. So that's when I grabbed it right here. Right when I saw it really forming, I got into it before the break. Right around in here. What time did I grab it? 1:43. 1:43. Yeah, right here. I grabbed it. I think it was going to break right in here. As long as it stayed, below the 281 area, that I was going to be okay. And then it broke down and just collapsed. And when it broke down, came back up and retested the breakdown area right here, confirming that it was going to go down, and boom, she went down. And the last one I had was Boeing. And this was one I labeled as a super lotto because like I said, being quad witching and monthly options, that usually the last 30 minutes there's a real big sell-off, and I noticed that BA was kind of doing the same thing, kind of like a descending triangle going on right here. So I jumped in at, I think it was like 7 cents. Yeah, 7 cents at 325, which was right in here. And it did drop, but it was too late. It should have dropped, like, if it dropped 10 minutes earlier, I would have probably doubled or tripled my money on that, but whatever. It was a super lotto. I wasn't expecting much. But anyways, it had the pattern right there, and being monthly options and quad witching, and typically what happens is a big sell-off at the end of the day, and I was hoping that, if it did, Boeing was so cheap and at the money that all it needed to do was drop $2, because we had the 327.50. So all I had to do was drop $1.50, a little over $1.50, and to be in the money, and they would have probably been like 50-60 cents or something like that. So I figured, 7 cents, risking 7 cents to make 50 cents, that's pretty good risk reward if it's a big harsh sell-off. And this harsh sell-off didn't really happen. It happened too late, and when it did happen, it just the options were just practically worthless. So if it happened back here, like I said, it would have doubled or tripled. So that is the why I chose BA at the last, and those were the plays for today. And hopefully that I explained why I took the calls I did, and why I chose the strikes. On Friday, Lotto Fridays is very, very tricky. You can't sit there and average down and average down and average down like with Netflix. That's why every time I went into Netflix, I went in with a closer strike. Now, if they were going against me, I mean, I could have, instead of waiting this out, which I did, I shouldn't have. I didn't want to take any more positions in Netflix. I mean, I could have, instead of waiting for the 335s, I could have jumped into the 337s, and I would have probably done really well. So they were like 66 to $2. So instead of averaging down the 335s, I would have just gone to the next one, but I didn't want a fourth trade in Netflix. I was already pretty upset over the third one, so I didn't want to get into it and lose any money or risk people in the room losing more money. I mean, I don't really care. I was up pretty good for the day. I didn't mind losing just a little more, but I didn't want people in the room, so I didn't call it to protect them. So that is it for the recap for today, and hopefully that helps. And tomorrow I will probably do some video lessons for members, and then I will probably do my research live video for members tomorrow, and a watch list for Sunday. So that's it. Have a good night.